Norm Snead hit 11 out of 17 in the first half. Ron Johnson ran for 67 yards, the top ground gainer. Here's Ron Johnson. And he has a first down. Ron Johnson out to the 32-yard line.
Well, hello! Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to check out this video, and welcome to the Gridiron. And before I get started, I just want to say thank you so much to everyone out there who's been watching my videos. Thank you! If you can maybe give this video a thumbs up, or possibly leave a comment below, or maybe even share this video, it would mean so much to me. But anyway, just thank you so much for just taking time out of your day to check out this video. Thank you! Well, I'll tell you what, I got the ESPN app, and you know, there's a bunch of stuff going on. I mean, like last night, you had the final, the championship game. So after that game's over, you hear da 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 da, and you can see who wins. Or the day before that, you had South Carolina, I believe it was, beating Connecticut in the women's thing. I just absolutely so frickin' sick and tired of seeing Connecticut women in the final. I just can't stand it. I absolutely frickin' hate it. It's anyway. But you get these, this dun 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 dun. So that came up yesterday afternoon, and I click on it, look at it, and it said Saints and Eagles swap 8 draft picks. I'm like, what the? I'm like, what? 8? What? But you start reading the article and all, it starts making a bit of sense to you. I think the Eagles did very, very well for themselves, so kudos to them. Not if you're a Giants fan, it's not a good thing, but the Eagles did very, very well for themselves, I think. So they swapped 8 picks, just basically, kind of seems so the Saints could have 2 first-round picks this year. Maybe trade up and move up for quarterback. Quite possibly, right? Now they got Jameis Winston. They signed him. They got a 2-year deal. Basically, he's a torch holder. Okay, right? A lot of that going on. I'm going to go over some more torch holders in a minute here. Okay, but basically, it's pretty much for that. I guess they feel that there's a lot of talent there with Jameis, but I guess they just don't seem to think that he's in the long-term plans for him. The dude actually had a season he had threw for over 5,000 yards. I guess maybe just the interceptions. Because he can throw you in a game, but he can also throw you out of a game too. So I guess maybe. But they got him for 2 years. They need a quarterback, all right? Basically, that whole division, everybody in that division needs a quarterback, okay? Now, the Bucs got Brady, but you got to realize that somewhere in the next, 40, 50 years, he might actually retire, and then they're going to need a quarterback, all right? So, they're going to, if they got, they'll be able to pick up a quarterback, in the late end of the first round. Now, the class isn't that super spectacular as it is. And if you got somebody getting to the back end of the first round or so, chances are, just from all the mock drafts and the podcasts and the YouTube, all that stuff I'm listening to, a lot of these experts, okay, I'm not an expert, but a lot of these guys I'm listening to all really don't think that, maybe Malik Willis, maybe, he could be special. He's got a little ways to go, all right, but not a lot of these guys at all have really what their experts are saying have much of a chance really at being a really good star quarterback in this league. Maybe some of them maybe decent, maybe backups, but if you get quarterbacks, next year, quarterback class, but this year. But it's a lot of people are saying Malik Willis. If there's one person that's going to could be a real good star quarterback in this league, it would be him. But he's got some work to do. So, he said the Bucs got Brady. He ain't going to be around forever. So, you can ride him out, but once he retires and you're looking around, oh my God, we ain't got a quarterback. you're screwed. Okay, so they're going to need a quarterback sometime, right? And what else? I mean, what a perfect. I mean, they should have gotten a quarterback 2 years ago when Brady first came. Get a quarterback, groom him behind the greatest quarterback of all time. Just sit there. That's all you got to do, sit and learn, okay? And when Brady finally retires, here's the keys to the team. Go get him, Tiger, right? But who else better to sit behind Tom Brady, right? I mean, so the Bucs should be taking advantage of this. This is freaking huge, having the greatest quarterback of all time on your team, and you should get a quarterback to sit behind him and learn. Absolutely. But you got the Panthers. They got Philip Walker and Sam Darnold. Okay, they need themselves a quarterback. Saints got James Winston. They signed him for 2 years. All right. Then they got Taysom Hill. They just paid him a lot of money. All right, but now he's not going to be their starting quarterback. Ian Book from my Notre Dame, but yeah, he's not going to be an NFL starting quarterback. Maybe a decent backup, but I don't think he's going to be a starting quarterback anytime soon. Then they got Andy Dalton. But, I mean, if he has to come in, I mean, that's a good backup to have. Don't get me wrong. You know, good backup. I mean, you know, but, I mean, you know, as far as long-term plans or anything like that, no. You know what I mean? So, you know, the Saints need a quarterback. All right, without question. But, I mean, what better? I mean, if you can get a quarterback, get him in with Andy Dalton on there, maybe Jameis Winston, all that, have him sit there, maybe learn from those guys, that would be really, really special. Okay, the Falcons got Marcus Mariota, signed him to a 2-year deal. He's a torch holder. He's just holding it, waiting for somebody to come by and take the torch. All right, that's all he's there for. Okay, Jameis Winston's torch holder, right? Sam Darnold, I mean, I'm sure they can't wait for him to get out of Dodge. You know, so the whole division needs quarterbacks. All right, the Eagles are sending their first 2 round picks. Well, they got 3 of them, but they're sending picks 16 and 19 and pick 194, which is a 6th rounder, right, to the Saints. So basically, they're pretty much sending just like 2 first rounders to the Saints. I mean, pick, you know, the 6th rounder, okay. But the Saints are sending pick number 18, first rounder, pick 101, which is a 3rd rounder, and then they're picking. I love these. They're picking, sending pick 237, which is a 7th rounder. All right. But then they're also sending their first rounder from next year, and then they're sending a 2nd rounder in 2024. So basically, kind of like the Eagles are sending them 2 first rounders, and they're swapping a 6th and a 7th. I mean, I'm not even really, you know, I mean, you can consider it, but I mean, 7th round picks and 6th round picks, I mean, they're pretty much, you know, I mean, if you go on the draft, the point schedule, there's charts, anybody in the 7th round is worth like 1 point. I mean, it's totally like, you know, but anyway, but I'm saying, but then the Eagles are getting 2 first rounders, they're getting a 2nd rounder and a 3rd rounder. 2 first, a 2nd, and a 3rd for their 2 first rounders. So the Eagles did really, really well for themselves. They picked up an extra 2nd and an extra 3rd. They did really well for themselves. So congratulations, you Eagles. I'm a little pissed off because you're in our division, but good job. But also good job to the Saints. If they want to move up, this is what you got to do. All right. So maybe then the Eagles now will have an extra first rounder for next year's draft. All right, in the class that's going to have some quarterbacks. All right. So if Jalen Hurts just doesn't work out. If they want to move on from him, right? If they need a quarterback, they'll have a little bit of firepower, okay? Maybe to move up and maybe grab a quarterback. So they have that option there, okay? Because I said next year there'll be some quarterbacks coming out for sure. Now for the Saints, the Panthers, the Falcons, they all pretty much playing pretty much. All right. I mean, there's no absolute guarantees, but if you got Brady there, you know, a lot of the guys are returning. The coaches in return, but Bowles is there, all right. So if he's taking care of the defense and he's coaching the team, all right. You know, you got to pretty much like the Saints, the Panthers, if they're going to make the playoffs, all right, pretty much, all right. There's no guarantee, but pretty much they're playing for wild card spot, all right. They're gonna have a real hard time beating the Bucs to win the division. Okay, so all 3 of those are pretty, you know, that's it. So. The only way, you know, they have a chance, okay, is, they're gonna have to get a quarterback. All right, especially the Saints. I mean, especially not so much this year. I mean, if they draft a quarterback, if he sits or so for a year, all right. But I mean, they all have Marcus Mariota. As I said, they got Jameis Winston. Those teams. So they got a quarterback. But sooner or later, they're going to need somebody to take the place. But I said all four of them sooner or later are going to need a quarterback. All right. So why not get a jump on it? All right. If you see somebody, if the Saints saw something, Malik Willis, all right, you go for it. It's the most important position in all of sports, period, bar none, end of conversation. All right, so if you see something in him, all right, now, he's not going to walk in there day one and take you to the Super Bowl. Absolutely not. But if you see something in him, and you think maybe in a year or two you can work some of the bugs out of him, and he can be a quality quarterback. If you think, you go and you get him. You do whatever you gotta freaking do. I mean, because you just start lollygagging around. Well, we'll see, and then, you got to get a quarterback. I mean, look how much success they haven't had Drew Brees. Right, all those years, every year they won a Super Bowl one time, but I mean, they were always contenders every year. Why? Because they had Drew Brees. You get yourself a quarterback, you always got a shot at being a contender every time. Right. Now the problem is that the Giants now are in prime position. Okay, maybe to trade back and get some of those picks. Get those 2 first rounders, right? The problem is for the Giants, anyways, that both of those, if I'm just saying this hypothetical, all right? Why would the Saints get 2 picks, 2 first round picks? This draft class is not boat loaded with blue chippers, okay? There's, there's some nice quality guys maybe at the top, but I mean after a while, once you get after, I don't know, picks 4, 5, 6, 7, or whatever. I mean, you have some nice quality throughout the whole draft, but you got like awesome, phenomenal talent in the teams and all that. From what I'm hearing and reading, no. So why are they doing all this to get 2 first round picks to move up to get a quarterback? As I said, they need a quarterback, right? Like I said, but the Giants, wanted possibly maybe to get some more. If the Saints trade with the Giants to get picks, okay, for next year. Because if they need a quarterback, that's when they want to get some firepower so they can move up and maybe get a quarterback, all right? Now, I really think that even if the Saints were to trade with the Giants, right, if they would send picks number 6 and number 16 and 19, all right, for pick number 7, okay, which wouldn't make the most sense in the world, they're still going to have to come up with a little bit more, okay? Because remember, last year, the Bears moved up 9 spots, moved from 20 to 11. Here, the Saints would be moving up 9 spots, from 16 to 7. Well, as I said, this wouldn't make that much sense, so I'm going to go over this in a second. All right, so that's 9 spots. All right, but the Bears gave up 2 firsts, a 4th, and a 5th, and that's to go from 20 to number 11. All right. Here, the Bears are going from 16. So the draft pick goes from 20. The Giants are getting a little better draft pick at number 16. But once you start heading into the top 10, it's just like, the lower you go, the more valuable it is. So now that the Saints will be trying to go down to number 7. That's 9 spots, but that's a lot of real estate right there. I mean, that would be pick 16, that would be pick 19, and that would have to be at least, I'm saying maybe another second rounder, or maybe a 3rd and a 4th, or 4th and a 5th, something like that. Have to be, without question. All right. Now, it would be 9 spots, all right? But if you think about it, okay, why would they want to go down to number 7? They would jump in front of the Falcons. Okay, that's great. So now they'd be in front of the Falcons, and obviously they'd be way in front of the Bucks. But they wouldn't be in front of Carolina. Where's Carolina? Carolina's at number 6. All right? So, optimally, right, they would want to go, the Saints would want to go from 16 and pick 16 and 19 to number 5. That would be ideal, because now they're jumping in front of Carolina. They don't want to make the trade right now. See, the Eagles and Saints can make trades like this that's fine. But the Saints don't want to trade with the Giants now, because then what happens? You got Saints, and they make a trade with the Giants, and the Giants move back. The Giants, the Giants got 16 and 19, and Saints move up, and Saints give the Giants an extra couple picks or whatever like that. So now the Saints are sitting at number 5. They're sitting in front of Carolina. Woo, we got it. Well, when draft night rolls around and the Jets are on the clock at number 4, guess what Carolina does? Picks the phone up. Yo, what's it going to take for us to go from 6 to 4? Right? So that's why they're not doing it now. All right, so they're going to wait for draft night. All right, but I mean, if they're going to go from 16 to 5, that's 11 spots. That's 2 first-rounders, and that's a couple more picks, without question. The Giants would do very, very well. Now, I mean, the Saints are sending, they're sending a third-rounder this year. I don't know if they have any other third-rounders, all right, so they could, but they're sending a second-rounder in 2024. So the Saints could afford to give up a second rounder maybe next year, maybe a second round. I'm not sure they got a second rounder this year or not. But the Saints have some picks that they could send the Giants as well too. So the biggest thing, all right, that I could see, all right, is that Saints would want to jump in front of the Falcons and the Panthers at being number 5 if they see something in Malik Willis, because as I said, if they see something, they gotta jump on. So that would be 11 spots, 2 first-rounders, and some more. Giants would do very, very well for themselves. Of course, that would, maybe Kayvon Thibodeau would, we're not getting him. I mean, that would be the problem, is that now we got to hope and pray, a tackle is there at number 7. There'll be tackles at maybe 16 and 19, but maybe Penei, but not one, possibly one of the top 3 studs might be there. Neal, Ekwonu, and Cross might be there at number 7, all right? But, but I'm saying, but the Giants, they would have 3 first-rounders. Could you imagine that? Maybe number 7, number 16, and 19, and then maybe a second-rounder, another third-round or something like that. Giants would do really, really well for themselves. I mean, if they had 3 firsts, they got a second, and they have 2 thirds, right? They got 6 picks. Man, that'd be fantastic. And then they might have to pick up another pick, at least a second or another third or something. Maybe 7 picks in the first 3 rounds. That would be like 1/3 of their football team. That would be really, really fantastic. Now, I said remember a few years ago in 2018, the Jets, right? They traded up from number 6 to number 3 to pick Sam Darnold, right? So what did they do? They gave the Colts, they traded up, they gave the Colts their pick number 6 just to go up 3 spots. And they gave them 3 second-round picks to go from 6 to 3. They moved up 3 spots. Every spot they moved up, they gave the Colts a second-round pick. So basically, what did the Colts do? The Colts went back to number 6. They drafted Quentin Nelson. Right? Why would the Giants draft Quentin Nelson? Why would we want him? Right? But could you imagine that if the Jets traded with the Giants to go down to number 2, and we moved back to number 6, we got Quentin Nelson, and we got 3 other second-round picks? Could you imagine that? But that just goes to show you how expensive it can be moving into the top 5, top 6, or so. What it's going to cost you. So it's going to cost the Saints, but in the long run, if they get themselves a quarterback, I'm sure they'll sleep well at night with it. But then again, once again, I'm sure the Giants will sleep very well with it too if they get those first 2 round picks from the Saints and then some. So, all right. So then we got Adoree Jackson. All right. They converted $8.965 million of his contract into a signing bonus, which is great because that's all guaranteed money that goes right to him. So they're happy, all right? Adoree Jackson's very happy. So this creates about $6 million in cap space for the Giants. So basically, they're adding $3 million onto his salary for next year, and also $3 million onto our cap hit for next year, okay? But then we're also adding on $3 million in 2024. They're adding like a void year. So basically, he doesn't have to be there because his contract will probably be void unless they extend it, right? But he can be gone, but the $3 million will still be on the books. Okay, so basically that's pretty much what's going to wind up happening. But the Giants just cleared up about $6 million in cap space, which is really great. So next year's cap hit will be $19.488 million, almost $20 million for Adoree Jackson this year. So this leaves the Giants with $6.788 million in cap space. All right. They're going to need about another $6 million just for their draft class. Okay. Plus, they're going to need another $10 to $15 million for in-season. Guys get injured. You want to sign somebody. This, you just can't go into the, with no money. You got to have some money in reserve. All right. So the Giants are going to need at least, barest minimum, another $15 million. $15 to $20 million they're going to need. All right. To clear up. All right. Giants, once again, could try to trade James Bradberry. Also, they can try to, one thing is they can try to do is either convert or extend Leonard Williams' contract, which is like kicking the can down the road, which is something Shane does not want to do. You can convert maybe some of Leonard Williams' his base salary this year into a signing bonus, right? That way he gets the money right up front. It's all guaranteed, and you can split the money up into a couple of years, and you can save yourself another $5, $6, maybe $1 million or so this year. If you want to sign him longer term, add another couple of years onto his contract, right? Make the cap hit a lot less this year. I mean, you could probably drop the cap hit down to maybe $10 million, maybe even more. But once again, you'd be kicking the can down. You'd still have a good, solid, quality ball player. But now his contract in the next few years is going to go up. But so will the salary cap as well, too. But, I mean, if he's trying to save money, that's what he's going to have to wind up doing. He just doesn't want to let Bradberry go, all right? Because then, let him go. All right, the Giants are going to want to save some money, but they're trying to get like a draft pick, and because they just let him go, somebody's going to swoop him up, sign him. All right, and the Giants won't get anything in return for him, right? So they're trying to really trying to get a draft pick in return, even if they have to pay part of his salary, right? They're trying to, they're trying to. I mean, I was hearing, last week the Chiefs were in play, for maybe a trade or something like that. So it's still got a couple weeks before the draft, but I mean that's what we're looking at right now. All right, there are other options out there. The Giants could, cut guys to save some money, but it seems like before Shane starts letting guys go, kind of like left and right, he wants to see what he can do as far as maybe trading maybe Bradberry before the draft. I mean, he can let Gates go, the X-Man. He can let Darius Slayton go. That would save about $5.5 million if you let those three guys go. You can maybe try to replace them in the draft, right? Undrafted college free agents, you can bring those guys in maybe to replace them, right? So I mean, those are possibilities. But I think before he just starts, signing this guy a long contract, letting these guys go and stuff like that, he's still trying to focus and concentrate on Bradberry. Can we get rid of him? We have to pay some of the salary, save, I don't know, maybe another $6-7 million a year for the salary cap. Maybe get a draft pick in return. Then we'll sit down and see where we got to go from there and see what else we can do. But I think seems like he's really concentrating on getting James Bradberry, at least trying to trade him and see if we get something in return for him. Then, of course, we got Daniel Jones, right? Apparently, he's ready to go. I mean, as far as, physical, but I mean also as far as the neck, as far as maybe he's ready for contact, I guess he's ready to go. I was reading that possibly if, late last year, if absolutely need be or somewhere, he could have possibly came back and maybe played. But when you're like 4-11, 4-12, I mean, it's, why put the guy in harm's way? But apparently, what I'm reading, he's good to go. So he's good to go for, the OTAs and spring training, training camp and all that. And quite possibly, he's good for contact. Now, he also said that, he was very, very happy to hear about what Mr. Maris said about, the Giants have done pretty much basically everything they can do to screw the guy up since he's been here. So he's going to give him a little vote of confidence there. But Daniel Jones also said, I haven't done enough to, to win ball games. So Daniel Jones, appreciated what Mr. Maris said, but he also said, in a way, it's like, I need to play better. And he's right. Then he also said he wasn't worried about the contract extension. He said when that happens, it happens. He said no talks have come up about a contract extension or the 5th-year option. Nothing's come up. The Giants got till May 2nd, so they got about a month to figure this out. I don't know if anything's going to happen before the draft. They'll have about a week after the draft, to come up with something. But so he said nothing's come up yet. Nobody, they haven't talked about any contract extension or 5th-year option or nothing like that. So we'll find out in a month. What the Giants really think of Daniel Jones. If they sign him to his 5th-year option, it'll be like $22 million, which they'll have plenty of money next year. All right, but that'll really let us know what they think about Daniel Jones. If by May 2nd, the Giants don't sign that 5th-year option, because it'd be $22 million, it'd be a lot cheaper than sign him long, because if they got to sign him long term, I mean, he's going to want, say $30 million. I mean, I don't know who he's rather, but they sign him long term, a long-term contract for a starting quarterback, maybe 25 to 30 million, even for somebody like him. So if they think there's a possibility, right, sign him next year for the 22. It's all guaranteed, but sign yourself for the 22, all right, save yourself some money, and then if he balls out again, then you can sign him for long term. But, I mean, we'll find out in a month. We'll find out. We've got about 4 weeks left to go. The Giants signed a 5th-year option for Daniel Jones or not. So when May 2nd rolls around, we'll find out what Shane and Dave will really think about Daniel Jones. Well, as always, guys, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to check out this video. You guys stay safe out there and go Giants.